But Jason Paulin and his wife enrolled in Melaleuca in November of 2007. They became senior directors in February of 2010 and quickly became executive directors by November of the same year. Currently, they are National Director 9 with 8,500 customers, 120 personal customers, and 29 personal directors. They have earned Marketing Executive of the Year twice, President's Club 4 times, and to date, they've earned over $3.49 million in their total income. But listen to this, their residual income, their residual checks are over $29,000 a month. Absolutely amazing. They are proud parents of 5 wonderful children, 9-year-old Ty, 7-year-old Cruz, 4-year-old Presley, 2-year-old Rome, and 10-month-old Piper. I wish my parents named me something cool now that I'm thinking of this, Jason. This is ridiculous.
Hey, my name's Jason too, buddy.
And while their Melaleuca business success is quite impressive, their children are what they are most proud of. So please help me welcome National Director 9, Jason Paulin. Jason, thank you so much for being on here. We have over 120 people that have joined us this evening with still folks coming on. So I'm going to turn the time over to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, man. I just want to throw this out there real quickly. Can you see my screen here? Or?
We absolutely see it. You can, if you just, you can make it bigger, that would be great.
Okay. I'm not sure how to do that, buddy.
Here. Yeah, that's a little bit smaller. Perfect.
How's that? Yeah,
that's great.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Well, I got to tell you, when you were saying those stats, I mean, it's still, I still have to pinch myself when I hear my residual and when I be able to see what we've created. It's just unbelievable. And I will tell you, it wasn't only about 2010, so a little over 6 years ago, where we were really struggling financially. So what I'd like to do today, guys, is I just want to share my story.
And Jason, not to interrupt, if you hit slideshow at the top, it will take over your screen. Up at the top, next to up further, slideshow. Click that, and then all the way to the left from beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
And now you are good to go, my friend.
Okay. Well, so I don't want to go through all of my slides, though. Does that make sense?
So then X that out. I apologize.
So how do I get out? Escape?
Just push escape.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Sorry about that.
All right. So I apologize that you guys are going to have to see some of the stuff. Can you see the stuff on the left-hand side? Is that what you see?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's good, Jay. That's perfect.
Yeah. Some of this stuff's from my overview, but I'm going to skip down a little bit. So anyways, so guys, what I want to do is I want to share my story, and through that, I want to share some concepts, and I think it's going to make sense to also want to do a little belief building, and then of course share some ideas of what we need to continue to do in order for us to see success here at Melaleuca. Now, here's my story. So you guys know I've been a personal trainer since 1998, and I can't believe it's been that long. But guys, at least once a month, somebody would come talk to me about some kind of deal. You name it, fill in the blank. I've heard it all. Visalis, Juice Plus, Avocare, Amway, Shackley. I'd seen all of it. And here's what I would do to get rid of them. I would say, listen, if you could show me a business report, documentation, and I don't want to know about it from somebody that enrolled you, that was, your husband's uncle or whatever. I want to know what you have been able to do. And not one of them could ever show anything to me. No, nothing. Nothing at all. And so I said, well, come back when you can show me something. Well, I was a personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness. I left that gym in order for me to set up my own. Well, but we still stayed in touch with Lance and Michelle Smith. They're our enrollers. And Michelle Smith had contacted Brooke and said, hey, I want you to get rid of these harsh chemicals out of your house. I want you to be a customer. And we had just had Ty, our first son. And she's like, okay, that's fine. That sounds good. But I was hesitant, guys. Can I be honest with you? I still thought it was one of those things. And I gave Brooke, and I don't want to say I gave her an ultimatum, but I just said, hey, listen, that's cool. I don't care if you switch stores, But if you're going to use this as a business opportunity or a concept or whatever you want to call it, we need to make some money. I'm not trying to throw the whole life savings at this deal, because that's what I thought it was, guys. I thought it was a deal. Most people, in fact, everybody on this line here, you guys probably thought it was one of those deals when you first enrolled anyways, right? Because that's just what we think. It looks like one of those things. And so I said to her, we're not throwing the whole savings at it. And she said, okay, well, and I said, I'll give you 6 months. If you can't make any significant money in 6 months, and I wasn't a jerk about it, so please don't judge me. I just said, how about 6 months? And if you can make some money in 6 months, then okay. We'll always be a customer, but I don't want you to try to build this business. And she said, okay, well, here's the deal. So the first full month of her building this business, it was November of 2007, and she made $78. All right, well, you can imagine how much fun I had with that, right? $78, a way to contribute to the household income there. Like I said, I wasn't a jerk, but I definitely let her know. But listen to this. The second month, she had reached director, and she made a $430 paycheck. And then I was like, wow, that's crazy. But guys, let me tell you, I was focused on my gym. I really didn't have anything to do with it. She was all about it. Well, it wasn't until 2009, so a little over a year later, she started making some income, and I said, wow, that's great. We're able to bridge the income gap, because we were struggling financially in 2009 because of the gym. It took a big hit at the end of 2008, and we already know, because the housing bubble burst, and everyone was losing their 401k. It was a tough time. And so 2009 was a tough year. But that money that she was making, we were able to bridge that gap a little bit. And it started to get me to think a little bit about this. It's funny, you're not open to something unless you really need it, right? And we were financially broke. And when you're financially broke, you're mentally and physically broken. At least I was. And it was because of that brokenness that gave me the opportunity, the idea for me to open up my mind. And that's what happened January of 2010. She forced me to go to launch. And I said, all right, fine. I went. I showed up an hour late, so that was another, I was in the doghouse for that. But listen to this. I was intrigued. I was like, wow, this is so much bigger than I thought. Because, guys, I thought it was a stay-at-home mom business, all about cleaning supplies. And I said, wow, this is something different. This is unique. This is big. Well, I studied the business kit. Back then, it came in a brown box. And I looked at it for a good solid 2 weeks. And March 1st, I said, I'm in. Let's do this. March 1st, 2010, we're going for it. And I will tell you guys, I said, there's no reason why we shouldn't talk to anybody about this, because everybody we know washes their hair, washes their teeth, washes their clothes, washes their dishes. And I said, I'm going for this. Well, here's what happened at the end of March. By the way, I listened to a few CDs. And I listened to Dave Crescenzo had a CD about how he went to convention. And I didn't even know what it was back then, but he went to a convention and he came back. He was all fired up. He had a mind shift, or a paradigm shift is what he called it. And he developed 5 directors in 1 month after he came back from convention. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I thought that was the norm. I'm like, okay, well, that's what I want to do. And I remember sitting down with Brooke March 1st, and I asked her, how many directors do you have? And she said, I have 5. I said, well, we're going to develop 5 this month. Well, I didn't know any better. I just like, let's go for it. This guy, Dave Crescenzo, that I just heard on the CD, developed 5. Why can't I? And so we worked hard. We were basically at the gym from 5 a.m., or at least I was at the gym from 5 a.m. till 7 o'clock at night. But I had a couple of hours in the middle of the day where I could make phone calls. Set appointments. And then after I got home from my appointments, I would do the webinars. And I lived in Colorado at the time, and all of my contacts were in Idaho. So that's why I used this webinar system. And at the end of the month, working very diligently, I was a little upset. And the reason why is because I didn't develop 5 directors. And Brooke was like, what's wrong with you? We did awesome. Because we didn't develop 5. She said, but we still developed 4 directors. And I got to tell you guys, that was, if we wouldn't have had a solid month, a good solid first month, I don't know where we'd be today, because that gave me the belief to say, you know what, we can do this. And if we partner up, magical things happen when 2 people work towards a common goal. Now, if you guys' spouse isn't on board, then find an accountability partner. Partner up with somebody. bounce these ideas off each other, hold each other accountable. And so that's the first thing that happened with our business is we held each other accountable. So find an accountability partner. It was awesome. Well, and by the way, I just want to share some of these income statistics with you guys, because I know that it's not everybody's going to make this money, but I want you to understand that the possibility can become a reality. At the end of the first month of Brooke and I building the business together, March of 2010, the check was $6,800. And I was like, oh my goodness, guys, that's a whole bunch of money. We were struggling. $6,800. I couldn't believe it. Well, here's what happened the second month. This was now April of 2010. So let's do it again. Let's see what we can do. Well, we enrolled 11 more customers and developed 2 more directors that second month of building the business together. That was my second month ever. And that check, I thought Melaleuca had made a mistake. May 15th comes around. That's when we found out when you got paid. May 16th, I think is what it was. That's when he found out. And by the way, my birthday is May 19th. And so when I got that, when I opened up the business report, when I ran downstairs and I looked at it, it said $8,700. And I could not believe after 2 months of putting in this effort that I had an $88,700 paycheck. In fact, I thought they made a mistake. I ran to Brooke and I said, Melaleuca can't be doing this stuff. They're giving people false hope. And she said, they don't make a mistake. That's how much money we made. I promise you. So when the check came, I hurried and I cashed it. I wasn't even going to deposit that sucker. I'm going to cash that because that's mine now. And so it was one of the best things that happened to us because we saw some great success, and that was now our story. And I want you guys to think about your story because that's really important. I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. But here's what happened. So it took Brooke, well, I shouldn't say it took Brooke. Brooke reached senior director in 2 years and 3 months. Then March to November, we went from senior to exec. But here's the thing, guys. We had set goals that we were going to walk the stage at convention, and back then convention was in August. We were going to take the 6 months from March to August, and we were going to walk the stage as an exec. Well, we didn't do it. But in order for us to do that, we had to double advance. Well, we walked the stage at convention as a senior 5 that year. But here's what happened. Because we were consistently working, you've heard that sometimes that doesn't take into effect and you don't see the fruits of your labor until months later. Well, this is exactly what happened with us. We walked the stage, and we advanced from senior to senior 5, and we walked the stage as a senior 5. But here's what happened. The next month, September, we double advanced to senior 7. Then in October, we double advanced to senior 9. And then in November, we reached executive director. And it was because of that momentum that carried us, of that consistent effort. And so that's what happened on our journey that first year. The first 1099 of Brooke and I building the business together was 2010. And that 1099 read 96,000. And we were tired, guys. I always like to be forthright and being honest on these training calls. We were working hard because I had that gym, and Brooke now was working part-time for me at the gym, working 3 days a week. And we had this other Melaleuca business that we were trying to get going. So we didn't have a lot of time. We made a lot of sacrifices. We didn't go on vacations, and we just put our heads down and did it. And so I sat at the end of 2010, got that $96,000 1099, and I said, honey, what if we do it again? We'll be completely set. Let's see if we can put that same devotion and that dedication and discipline and do that in 2011. And that's what we did. We were like basically 2 ships passing at night. It wasn't quite that bad, but we were so focused on this, getting out of our situation, because we were in a bad financial situation. We just put our heads down. And guess what happened? At the end of 2011, basically our second year of building this business together, that 1099 went from 96 to 342,000. And I was like, oh my goodness. Well, we were good. We were fine then. We were able to pay off all of our student loans, pay off all of our credit card debt. We were able to get take care of the IRS, that we owed the IRS some money. We were able to become financially free with the exception of our house, pay off our car loans and everything. And it was great, guys. And I never thought in a million years that a home-based business would give me the opportunity to do that. I thought you had to do the traditional avenue. And so looking back on that, well, then guess what? And then 2012, we kept going up, and obviously now we're National Director 9, and our residual is just it's incredible. And like I said, I have to pinch myself still every day to realize that what we have, it's incredible. But here's the thing: we all have the same business, we all have the same products, we all have the same compensation plan. So why is it that some people do it and some people don't? And it obviously comes down to belief. And obviously there's some tools and techniques that we need to refine, but outside of that, everybody has this opportunity. All right, so let's talk about this real quickly. Why it makes sense. So I'm going to share with you guys 4 concepts as to why this home-based business was different from anything else. The first one is, of course, real simple, the 95, now 96% reorder rate. So that's number 1. Right. And so I want to share with you guys some of my thoughts on that. Now, 96%, that's incredible. That just tells you that obviously you're just switching a store, right? Because everybody, from a product standpoint, people are buying these products already, and it's necessity driven. They're already buying it. And also from a business standpoint, it tells you that's how you're going to earn residual commission. All right, so let's compare. We don't ever want to compare ourselves to those other home-based businesses, but unfortunately that's what we do. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So from a traditional business, to have a 96% month-to-month reorder rate is unheard of. That's awesome. At my gym, I have a retention of about 60%. So to have a reorder rate, 96% month after month after month, is incredible from a traditional business standpoint, whatever it might be that you have. But from one of those home-based businesses, let's just pretend that you're in one of those home-based businesses and you have a reorder rate of 50%. Which is extremely high. Most of them are lower than that. But let's talk about that. What if at the end of the month you open up your MORE report and you're an executive director, you have 1,000 customers, and at the end of the month you have 50 cancellations? Well, that's 5% attrition, right? That's normal. That's what we have here at Melaleuca. You're going to have some attrition no matter what, 5%. But what if you open up that MORE report and you're in one of those other deals and you had 500 people drop off? That's, when you put it in perspective, it makes us understand what we truly have. So don't get upset about a few cancellations here and there, because it's part of it. You're going to have to deal with it. But when you look at it from the big picture, it's incredible. The second concept is you're just switching a store, right? We're already buying these products. I know this sounds so simple, but basically you can sum up the whole overview in these 4 concepts. Switching a store, we're already buying it. Washing our hair, brushing our teeth, using deodorant, washing our clothes, washing our dishes, taking supplements, working out. It's huge right now. We're still in the first quarter. Still people are going strong with their New Year's resolutions. We're using these products. So it's our goal as a Melaleuca marketing executive to show somebody the value of our brand. Because they're already brand loyal, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just buying the products because they just habitual. But now it's our goal to show them the value. Because that's our whole founding axiom, right? Exceptional products at reasonable prices. And I always like to tell people that it's basically like a Whole Foods at a target price. It allows us to bring home wellness on a budget. When you say those 2 catchphrases, people are going to start thinking, wow, that sounds good. Yeah, and check this out. Why don't you guys try to do it? Go to Whole Foods and buy something, and then go to Walmart or Target and buy something comparable. Same type of a product like shampoo and stuff like that, and look at the price difference. And when you do that, you're going to see that it's expensive to shop at a Whole Foods. But when you say, look, this is basically like a Whole Foods online, but at a target price, people are starting to, because you want to relate to them. They say, oh, that makes sense. The third thing is there's no contracts. Now, I know we have a blue form and a green form, and we have commitments, 35-point commitment. Guys, there really isn't. There really isn't a commitment. There isn't any contracts, and here's why. Because you can cancel whenever you want. And that was one of my favorite things. If I was going to lead with integrity and credibility and put my name out there, put my name on this, I want to make sure that nobody gets hurt. So people can cancel the last day at midnight and still not be obligated to shop. So I'm going to say that in my overview. Look, I'm going to be forthright. If you don't like it, that's fine. Guess what? You can cancel. We only want happy customers. So go ahead and cancel. That's cool. That's good. I would rather have somebody not be upset and cancel than somebody to be upset and trash Melaleuca and me. So they can get out whenever they want. But here's the thing. If they truly try the products and truly switch their whole household over, they're not going to cancel. So remember, it's our job to show them the value. The fourth concept, and this is really big, this is probably the biggest one, I touched on it already, is the price points. The price points are the same, if not less, than what we're already currently buying. All right, so you can compare this to like the Whole Foods store, and you can see how we can compete with them. You can then let's compare us to the home-based businesses like Herbalife. Herbalife, they have a meal replacement powder that it tastes good. Actually, it's really good. It's probably good for you, right? But here's the thing: that meal replacement powder, that MRP, is 3.5 times more than what you could get at GNC. So people are on a budget right now. They're not going to be able to afford to pay for that. Some people will, but it's not for all. And that's the beauty of Melaleuca, is that it's for everybody. It's for all. You could take a makeup company. Nothing wrong with a makeup company. We got Mary Kay and Avon. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But for me personally, I want to have a product that's consumed by all. Because if I had one of those companies, I'm eliminating half the population. But here, every single person is going to utilize Melaleuca's products. All right? So with those 4 concepts, and that's why I decided that I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. I want to share with you guys some business statistics real quickly, because I think this is important. I always like to show people real statistics. And if you guys don't have these statistics just yet, then your enroller will. All right? So I want to blow this up just a little bit so you guys can see this. So look, guys. Oh, whoops. This is a business report from January of this year. And look up here, this is from my customers shopping in the month of December. I want to come down here and I want to point out a few things. So Judy Warren was our very first customer. She started shopping 109 months ago. So you guys have this same type of business report. You might not have somebody shopping for 109 months, but my point is show your statistics, because these speak volume of how real we have real customers buying real products. So Judy Warren is our very first customer, 109 months, and you can see how many points she shopped for in the month of December, 76 points. She doesn't have to shop here. Remember, she can cancel whenever she wants. But for the last 109 months, month after month after month, she shops. So I want you guys to show people that. Show how it's just another store. Just like they go to shop at Whole Foods or Vitamin Cards or Trader Joe's. Well, now she saw the value here at Judy Warren, and you guys will say the same thing about your customers. They now see the value here of how they're shopping month after month after month, not because they have to, they choose to. And I always like to point out a few people like Molly Koenig. She's 151 points. So I always like to show somebody who's shopping for a lot. I also like to show somebody who shops for a minimal amount, right? So I want them to understand that everybody's going to be using this. Some people shop for a little, some people shop for a lot. It doesn't matter. It's the size of your household. This particular guy, I always like to pick on him, Kevin Womack. The reason why I pick on him all the time is my father. It's just him and my mom, 36 points. And I make a fun little joke about it. And that, in fact, we had to take 5 months to talk him into doing it. But whatever, right? And you got to have fun with it and make them joke, get them to laugh a little. All right. So then, of course, let's talk about your commission amount, right? Because we already know that we get paid 7% to 20% on your organization, and that depends on who referred them. But look at this. This is the beauty of it. Right? And I might show the 96% and show the 20 and 7%. I want them to understand that. But look, $7.40, $2.66. Some of it's minimal amount, $2.52. But that's the beauty of this, is because people come back month after month after month. 96% they shop, and they shop for what they need. You get a small commission. I always like to compare it to insurance. So basically, you get annual renewals in insurance. Well, here we're getting monthly renewals, because people shop every month. You get a small commission, and that's what that is. Now, I always like to be real. I don't want you to think that you're going to be making all this money all up front. You're not, right? So it builds on each other, though. So this is the very first 1099 that we ever made. Actually, I should say Brooke, because remember, she was the one doing it. The first year, she reached Director 5. And at the end of 2008, so remember, November of 07, so the first full year, she made $13,000, $1,200, about, I guess it was about $1,100 a month. What would $1,100 a month do for you and your family, or for the person sitting across from you and their family? Pay off credit card debt, save for college tuition, pay off student loans. Depends on how old you are or how young you are. Depends on how much student loans you have. Get a car that you never had. I don't know. Here's what happened the second year. Being consistent. 1099, 2009, I read 30,000. Now we went from $1,100 to about $2,500. And guys, this year, 2009, was a crucial year for Brooke and I, because it helped me understand that that $2,500 a month or so every year was bridging that. Unfortunately, what happens is most people, they have more month at the end of the paycheck, right? After the paycheck's gone, there's more month to come. And this right here, this $2,000, $2,500, or whatever it was that she was making on average in the year of 2009, saved us. And it wasn't because of that year right there that helped me understand that this is real. I'm stubborn. It took me 2.5 years to figure it out. Hopefully it doesn't take you guys that long, but it was incredible. And now, basically, I like to show people what the possibility can become in the reality. That's it right there. And it's incredible, guys. I mean, I never thought in a million years that I'd be able to get this or do it. I want to share with you guys a few tips on not only belief, but managing your emotions. Let me tell you, when you're making some great income, you can manage your emotions pretty easily, right? But what about in the very beginning? Maybe you're brand new. You still don't have that posture. You don't have that belief quite yet. It sounds good. You've got great products. Your son had eczema, now it's gone because of the Renew lotion. So you have some belief. You think that it's possible, but you're just not quite sure. And I want to give you guys a few tips on to keep you guys building and keep you guys strong and taking advantage of the monthly promotions and Quest when you become seniors and execs, and keep you moving forward. The first thing is, for those of you that haven't reach director right now. And for those of you that have been building the business for a while, when you have somebody brand new category 2 and 3, coach them on reaching director their very first month. And here's why, because that's the story. Imagine the story. Let's say you enrolled somebody brand new and they say, you know what, this sounds good, but I got to try the products and I just need to think about it. Okay, that's fine, but hold them accountable. All right, the products are going to come in a couple of days. I don't want you to try them. So then how about today's Monday? How about Friday? I give you a call. We can talk about it. Hold their feet to the fire a little bit, because you want them to reach director the very first month. So what happens is, let's say you enroll somebody brand new, and the first month goes by, and the second month they maybe enrolled one customer and they made, I don't know, half of their product point average of 50, so they made $25. And then they decide to build. Well, that's their story. And even though that they made some money their first couple months, it's not a lot. And some people would say, you know what, no thanks. Maybe, I don't know, I really need to make some money quickly. But what about this story? Let's say you help that same person reach director the very first month, and it just happened to be a month where it's guaranteed $500, just like, I think it was, right? $500, and their first check was $500. And that's their story. And now they can take that $500 and say, hey, look, this is what I did. I mean, I enrolled in March, and I enrolled 9 customers, and I made $500. God, people are going to say, well, that sounds pretty good, versus $25. If you help somebody do it, then it's going to be duplicatable, and you're going to do it over and over and over. And then that's going to, of course, obviously expand your business exponentially, because I'd rather have 100% or 1% of 100 people versus 100% of my own. Brooke and I, we have 8,500 customers, and the reason why is because we have a lot of people that are doing a little. We don't have people that are exploding like crazy, which is great. I'm glad that you have people that do that. That's awesome. We always look for them, right? Ed calls them big fish or whatever. But we don't have people that are going crazy. We have people consistently doing effort, and we have a lot of people doing that. And that's how we have been able to create 8,500. So your percentage of enrollers is going to go up the more directors that you develop that first month. So that's number one. Number two, I would tell you guys that this is emotional. So we need to manage our emotions. All right. I don't know how many times I've had somebody enroll and say, and call somebody, their best friend up, they didn't listen to us. No matter how many times you say something, like, hey, don't talk to anybody until we can meet for a strategy session. They're going to be all pumped up. They're going to go say something to their mom or their best friend, their brother, whatever. And they're going to tell them, don't do it. And then they're going to be shot down. I've found that if people get 3 no's right off the bat, they're not going to do it. They're not going to get a 4th because they're going to quit. So we want to make sure that we help them understand the emotions, and that's all about building the belief. Help them know what we have here, what Melaleuca is, how it's built on science. It's debt-free. It's a billion-dollar company. It's U.S. based. It's incredible. All the products and all the testimonials. And it sounds like you guys got a great Facebook page. You plug them into that as quickly as possible so other people can see testimonials. Just help them understand what Melaleuca is. It's emotional. Let me just tell you a quick story from me that happened to me personally. So I already told you the first month, 13 customers and 4 directors. And actually 2 of those were director 2s and 2 of them were directors. That was the first month. The second month, 11 customers and 2 directors. But here's what happened. So my emotions were crazy high. The first 2 months, I developed 6 directors and, what is that, 24 customers. And I was like, it kind of backfired on me because I was sky high. I was like, why, how come everybody's not doing this? This is easy. I for fear of people judging me, I might have got a little cocky. This is easy. But here's what happened. My emotions were so high. Well, that second month, at the end of the month, one of those 4 directors, the first month, fell from director. They had somebody cancel. And this is my best friend, by the way. His name was Eric, or is Eric. And Eric fell from director to, not being a director. He fell to 7 customers. And then he got so emotional about it, he canceled. I mean, can you guys believe that? He canceled. And so then, of course, I'm all emotional. And now my emotions are down, low, really low. And I'm starting to question, like, oh my gosh, is this real? Like, what's going on? So my point is keep your emotions in check. It's all good, right? If you have somebody that circles a category 3, don't get too high. It's all good. If somebody cancels, I remember another time a value pack ended up on my doorstep. I was gone on a Saturday and I got a text message from a friend saying, hey, I'm out. The value pack's on your doorstep. I want a refund. I couldn't believe it. So my emotions was down. You're going to have stories like that. You're going to have ups and downs. Just keep your emotions even. It's all good. You get a cancellation, it's all good. You get a brand new category 3, it's all good. When we get ups and downs, and that's when it's just hard, okay? So please keep those emotions in check. Manage those emotions. I always tell people that's one of the hardest things about building this business. I don't think setting an appointment, I don't think you guys have a hard time setting appointments after hearing about those power hour statistics. That's awesome. And I used to think picking up the phone call, I used to think the overview was hard. I used to think the close was hard. But I think the hardest thing is having somebody understand how emotional this is and keeping their emotions in check in order for them to stay consistent and build this business consistently. And when you do that, or when you help somebody do that, then you will always have a business partner. The third thing is consistency. You guys can stay consistent and help your team stay consistent, then you're ahead of the game. And I don't mean consistency with 40 hours a week. Guys, I tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, I could probably work harder. It's hard sometimes, though, when you have residual income of $29,000 to work every day. And I just want to be honest with you. I like that to be forthright. It's hard. But when you look at the mission statement and realize it's not about us, that keeps us going. But consistency, when I say that, I mean this. You're going to have people that are going to be working part-time building a Melaleuca business. So whatever part-time that is, just make sure it's consistent. I have somebody that's building this business right now. He's in sales. His name's Michael, and he builds Melaleuca 5 hours a week. Okay, great. 5 hours a week. But I told him, I said, Michael, that's great, 5 hours a week, but I want you to do 5 hours every week. If you got a part-time job working for, I don't know, whoever, maybe you're doing accounting on the side, and you only showed up 5 hours the first week, and then you took 3 weeks off, and then April 1st, you show back up to work, you're probably not going to have a job. So I want you to treat that the same way. If you only have 5 hours a week, then make sure we put 5 hours a week. If you got 10 hours, then great, put 10 hours a week. Now, when we talk about consistency and the amount of time that you put into it, then we also have to talk about how your time, your goals have to be in line with your accountability or your effort, right? So if you guys want to be a senior director in 5 months, 5 hours a week is probably not going to get it done. So you need to put more effort into it. But I'm just saying consistency. I don't want anybody to think that you can become an executive director working 5 hours a week in the first 5 months. You can. It's just going to take more time. But I want people to understand that you just need to be consistent. The other thing, another tip is people are going to come and go. But people that get you to senior director are not going to be the people that get you to exec. And the people that get you to exec, well, you're going to have to find more people to get you to national. And I always like to be honest, once again, look the same way it looks for me right now with where we're at. We're National Director 9. And here's what happened with our business. We were sitting at National Director 5 for the longest time. When you're a national director, when you're in these ranks, that you have to have an executive director in order for you to advance. The only way you can advance is having executive directors. So here's what happened to Brooke and I. We reached National Director 5. Then we had somebody stop. They were an exec too. They stopped. We had somebody that was going to be, we hoped would be an executive director. They were senior director 9. And he stopped. He went and got a job. He said, it's not for me. And this is what he said to me. I never was a networker. All right, well, hopefully that's not networking, but however you want to look at it, he stopped. And that always blew my mind when I heard about people that had executive directors and senior directors and then they stopped. It's just part of it, guys. Just like in my business and my gym, I had trainers that come and go. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. I always like to put it in terms people can relate to. I had one of the best personal trainers. In fact, I knew that when I left, Carla was going to be able to run that gym and take ownership and have it be profitable. And when I came back from a vacation, everything was going to be good. And when she said that she was going to leave, I was devastated. But I didn't close the doors. I didn't shut down shop. And sometimes that's what we do. We have somebody that leaves, that sort of quits, or worse yet, maybe they get terminated, and then we stop. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to develop another executive director. That seems like an awful lot of work. But guys, just like if you had a traditional business, you'd go find somebody else. I encourage you guys all to keep those emotions in check and help you understand that people are going to come and go. So we developed 2 new executive directors. It took us a long time too, by the way. We sat at National Director 5 for, gosh, I think it was 4 years, 3 years, I think is what it was. 3.5 years, I think, is before we got to National Director 5 fast. And then we sat there for a while. And don't worry, I'm not complaining. I don't want you guys to think I'm complaining about how we sat at National Director 5. I'm not. It's fine. It's part of it. But we helped 2 people reach exec. Okay, well, 1 person reached exec. We went to National 7, and then this other person, this was last year, by the way, reached National Director 9 because they went exec. So now we're sitting at National Director 9. We have 2 Senior Director 9s. If one of those guys reach executive director, then we'll be corporate. But I got to tell you guys, I don't think those Senior Director 9s will ever do it. They won't. They've kind of quit. And that's hard. But guess what? We went out, we found some more people, and they're coming up. They're not even close to being executive director. But when they do, when we help them reach their goals, then of course our goals will be reached as well. I used to read Zig Ziglar a lot because I was in sales my whole life. I've been selling personal training, and Zig Ziglar had a saying. He talked about how you help enough people with their bills, your bills will go away. And that's exactly how Melaleuca is. You help enough people change their lives, well, your life is going to be changed dramatically as well. So it's let me just recap that, guys. Reach director as fast as you can. Manage your emotions, and make sure that we're consistent. Whatever time that is, make sure it's consistent. And then realize that people are going to come and go just like it was a real business. And because, guys, that's what this is. It's a real business. I'm forever grateful. I never thought, like I said, that this would ever be where we're at today. But guess what? If I can do this, I know everybody can do this. I promise you. It's just making sure that you do those sacrifices. Make those sacrifices. Get a little uncomfortable and pick up the phone. When I first, I'll never forget my first personal training seminar I had. This was back in '99. And I had a gym full of people that I had to talk in front of. I had to help them understand what we offer, what the gym offered as far as personal training, how they could help reach their goals, fitness-wise. And I was so nervous. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to do it. And I thought, you know what? This is how I'm going to be able to get 24 Fitness, get a lot of clients for me. And it was horrible. It was horrible. But I did it. And now, guys, I continue to do that type of stuff. And I guarantee if you continue to do that type of stuff, get uncomfortable, pick up the phone call, go to networking events, whatever it is that you do, go meet somebody. I always try to make an effort to try to meet one person a day. Just try to do stuff like that. You will always have a full pipeline. That's the uncomfortableness that I'm talking about. When you do that, magical things happen. And then listen to this. One last thing I'll add is that although you might sit down and you do an overview and the person says no, you're still staying in motion. You're still sharpening that saw. So don't get too emotional about it. Just stick with it. Sharpen that saw, work on your overview. And the only way to do that is by doing appointments, setting appointments. And if your business is too young enough for you to do your own overviews, then try to set an appointment every day. Get really good at that. And then, of course, you'll go with your enroller. And when you listen to your enroller do the overview, then you're going to learn. That's basically on-the-job training is what I call it. And then when you're ready, you're going to sit down with your enroller and say, hey, you know what? You're still doing the overview, but I want to take a couple of slides. Can I take the fitness portion of it? Hey, you know what? I want you to do the overview, but I want to do the introduction. And when you start doing that, well, then magical things happen. So guys, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to end with that. Hopefully you guys took some good nuggets from that. I would just stay consistent, and whatever time that is, just stay consistent and continue to fill that belief bucket, because that's what's going to get you from where you're at today to wherever your goals are.
Okay, that was amazing.
Wow, Jason. Awesome, awesome, awesome job. Hopefully everybody got a lot out of tonight's training. And I think really it's just about the stickability that you talked about. And, you know, not everything's going to be easy for everybody, or anybody at any time. I mean, it's, you know, this is a business just like any other business. And the biggest thing I think that you talked about is keeping your emotions in check and just making the decision to do it. The one good thing I know about this business, as you said, is we have that residual income to fall back on. And that's really obviously what we all have here in our hands. And that was one of the best trainings, Danny, that we've had. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. We had over 160 folks on here.
Yeah, just what we needed. Just what we needed.
So Jason, again, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. That was absolutely incredible. I hope everybody got some really awesome nuggets, and, you know, let's build a business to last a lifetime. Thank you all for being on tonight's call. Let's make sure we take advantage of the dollar enrollments that are taking place up until the 15th. And again, Jason, Paulin, thank you so much. We appreciate
All
it.
right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Give Brooke a hug for me. All right. Bye-bye.